In the 10th year of our love story, Julian kept a little songbird on the side. For her sake, he planned to put me on ice. He even went so far as to propose to Lily, a spectacle so huge no one in town could miss it. He told me it was time I learned to bend, who else would want me once he was done? I gave up and walked away. Later, he crashed his race car and rang me from the hospital, begging me to come. Instead, he saw me walk in holding another man's hand. His eyes rimmed red. He pleaded like a child, 10 years, and you change your heart overnight? Come back, let's get married. After I brought up marriage, Julian and I slid into a cold war. On his birthday I caved. I didn't want to ruin the day. Every one of his birthdays for the last decade had been celebrated with me beside him. I chose a silk tie with care, the color made for him. Maybe I caught him off guard, he wasn't prepared. An unexpected gift can thaw a freeze, I thought. Outside the private lounge where he was throwing the party, I found him with a girl who looked barely legal, fresh, bright-eyed, the mirror image of me at 18. Timidly she lifted a champagne flute, wanting just a taste. Julian took it away. No. You can't hold your liquor. She tugged his hand, pleading with one finger raised. Just a sip? He drank from the glass, then brushed the wine across her lips with a kiss. There, now you've tasted it. Her eyes sparkled, she flushed scarlet and lowered her head. My fingers crushed the gift box, its razor edge slicing my palm. Thick drops of blood hit the carpet. The sting crept from my fingertips to my heart, vision blurring, the laughter around us swelling like a tide. So innocent. No wonder even reformed Pierce wants a sample. Aren't you scared Vivian will blow? She doesn't strike me as the tolerant type. Julian lounged back, boredom on his face, as if remembering some tasteless joke. She asked me to marry her. 10 years, natural she'd want a ring. Longest any woman's lasted. What do you say? He snorted, lazy and cruel. An actress? In my house? His words stabbed straight through me. No wonder 2 nights ago, when he returned from a trip, he was still hungry in bed, always hungry. Clinging to his neck, dizzy with wanting, I whispered, Julian, let's get married, okay? His gaze chilled in a heartbeat, he pulled out and left without looking back. Vivian, you've crossed the line. I won't be around for a while, cool off. The scent of sex still hung in the air, yet he was gone. I stood naked at the window, numb. I hadn't understood, I only wanted marriage. From 18 to 28, the best years of my life given to him. A promise, I thought, was owed. Turns out in his eyes I was just talent for the casting couch, fun to play with, unfit for the credits. Once he'd held me close and murmured he wished he could marry me and lock me away from every camera. Words in bed are smoke, breathe them and they vanish. So if there's no ring, it's Splitsville? Arm around the new girl, he dragged on a cigarette, thought a beat, exhaled smooth as silk. I'm not done with her yet. Let her freeze, she'll crawl back and drop the topic. The girl pouted. How can you say you're not tired of her while I'm right here? Julian slid his arm free, eyes arctic. Lily, know your place. Ask for anything else. Whine again and you're gone. Tears on her lashes, Lily leapt up and bolted for the door. Impatient, Julian still went after her, and finally spotted me in the corridor. Surprise flickered, replaced fast by calm. What are you doing here? Triumph glittered in his eyes, see? She caved first, exactly as I said. The room chorused sister-in-law. Come in, Vivian. We thought your commercial shoot ran late. That's just his cousin joking, come sit. I steadied my voice. Spare me the cover-up. I saw and heard everything. Julian's brows pinched, my bluntness cost him face. So? You have nothing to say? Lily's eyes watered. There's nothing between Pierce and me. Yet she lifted her chin, proudly showing the bruise he'd left, ambition blazing. I pulled a tissue and held it out. Sweetheart, wipe the wine off your lips, it's a mess. The air froze. Julian stepped toward me. A smart woman bends, Vivian. You're not 18 anymore. Look the other way and tonight vanishes, simple. He thought age should tame me, dull my edges. A decade hadn't deepened his love, only entrenched his certainty that I'd stay because I had no choice. He believed I was fading, silence was my only shot at keeping him. He'd forgotten every promise he once made. Back in our first year, a lipstick mark on his collar sent me packing. He spent a snowy night on my porch, face blue, begging for a hearing, then produced security footage proving the woman had simply fallen against him. I'd warned, Julian, if you're ever tainted, I'm gone. He fired her on the spot, vowed to keep predators at arm's length. Everyone said the untamable Pierce heir had met his match. Now times had changed. He could kiss another woman in front of me and still expect me to smile. I tossed the tie into the trash and met his icy stare. Clearly that gift doesn't suit you. Here's a better one, our breakup. You're free. He snatched the crystal ashtray and hurled it, shards showered my shoes amid ash and spilled liquor, filthy and ruined. Vivian, you still haven't learned manners. Think I can't replace you? Enjoy the memories, you're not 18 and adorable anymore. Our 10-year affair lay like that shattered crystal, broken, soiled. Fury sheeted his face. Your call. Don't come crawling. Starting now, Lily's my girl. He yanked her to him and kissed her hard, eyes locked on me the whole time, pure challenge. Lily was so stunned by the sudden happiness that she answered it almost at once. Wet sounds of kissing filled the silent private lounge, and the thought that the lips I had kissed countless times over the past 10 years were now on hers sent bile surging up my throat. I turned away, desperate to escape the place that suddenly made it hard to breathe. A hushed voice drifted after me. Pierce, you're not going after her? So you're really done with Vivian? He answered with absolute certainty, no need. She'll come back on her own. 10 years, she can't bear to walk away. She'll regret it. She'll apologize. I quickened my stride, and the moment I slid into the back seat of the car the elderly driver asked, You okay, miss? The pain I'd been holding back finally registered, spreading through me like ivy. My tears came at last. I regretted everything. Those 10 years were worth less than raising a damn dog. Nothing major. The dog just snuck off to eat someone else's shit. With my heart in ruins, I threw myself into work. Commercial shoots, interviews, screenplays, I packed my calendar. When I arrived on set, I heard they were recasting a supporting role. The new girl, rumor said, had heavyweight backing. The moment Lily walked in, I knew the backer was Julian. He had driven her onto the lot himself. The director greeted them with obsequious bows. Julian ruffled her hair and told everyone, She's young, look out for her, give her pointers. He sent dessert to the entire crew to shore up her position. His gaze flicked over me as if by accident. After 10 years together, our relationship had been Hollywood's worst-kept secret. Now the whispers followed me everywhere. Who was this Lily, and how had she managed to make Julian dump me? Maybe he didn't even care that much about Lily. This was a contest between him and me. He was pushing me to admit I was wrong. After all, the special treatment that had once been mine alone could now be handed to anyone. I, too, had been young when I first joined a production. The director hadn't known I was with Julian and had tried to strong-arm me, sleep with him and I'd get a real part instead of a silent background extra. I refused. He drugged me and tried to force himself on me. Julian showed up in time, beat the man half to death, and had him hauled off to jail. After that, even when he couldn't persuade me to take lead roles, Julian would escort me to every set, wordlessly declaring me off limits. Once I'd clawed my way up from background extra to leading actress, no one dared lay a finger on me. Only in the last 2 or 3 years had he stopped accompanying me. At most he'd have an assistant deliver lawn stem roses on the first day of shooting. I realized then that betrayal never happens overnight, the seeds had been planted in countless small moments. His love had rotted from the inside out, gilded surface hiding decay until the stench could no longer be masked. Lily's acting was atrocious. Her expressions and gestures were wildly overdone, and she couldn't even finish a line without stumbling. I lost count of how many takes we repeated. One more and I'd miss my commercial shoot. The director, afraid to offend Julian, kept calling for another reset instead of lunch. During the 7th water stunt and makeup touch-up, my assistant finally snapped. "People like you ruin this industry. You waltz in with backing but zero skill, demanding lead or second lead roles. Could you at least learn your lines first? You're wasting the entire crew's time, we haven't even had lunch. A lowly assistant dares to lecture me?" Lily snarled, raising her hand to slap her. I caught Lily's wrist. "She's only telling the truth." Lily's eyes filled with tears as though I'd bullied her beyond endurance. "Vivian, I know you hate me, but Julian is free to be with whoever he chooses. You can't take it out on me." "I'm not taking anything out on you. I'm stating facts. With your current skill level you couldn't play a corpse, let alone second lead." Lily dropped the act, sneering, "You climbed the ladder on Julian's coattails, what right do you have to lecture me, you washed-up has-been?" Yes, Julian's protection had spared me harassment, but I never took shortcuts. I started as a background extra, playing corpses, filling crowds, slogging through mud, jumping off rooftops. I studied every single line from every possible angle. 7 years as a supporting actress until a villain role blew up 3 years ago and I finally landed leads. This craft is my vocation and my pride, I owe every viewer my best. I was sick of Lily dragging Julian into everything. Leave Julian out of this. We're talking about the scene. Mumble your lines, lean on dubbing and backers all you want, flash fame won't last. Fine, I quit. Lily flung her hand away and collapsed to the ground, tears streaming. Vivian, I'm sorry, it's all my fault. The moment someone lifted her she saw Julian and curled into his chest like a kitten. Julian. No wonder she'd thrown herself down, her leading man had arrived. If only she could act this well on camera we'd all be home by now. He soothed her with a pat on the head, then pinned me with a stare. You embarrassed her. I told you she's under my protection. What happened? After a decade of being his favorite, watching him lavish that same favor on someone else felt like barbed wire around my lungs, sharp, tightening, but survivable. Withdrawal takes time. Don't kid yourself, Vivian. You don't love him anymore. Don't crawl back. Lily peeked out pitifully. Vivian said I'm talentless, that I only got in because of you. I know I'm stupid, but I try so hard. Maybe I don't deserve to act, or to be with you. Julian looked at me, not angry yet, almost expectant. Is that what you said? I said she needs more training. I never mentioned whether she deserves you. His face hardened, mouth flattening to a line. Nice, Vivian. You should thank her, she could have taken any role in this picture, but she chose second lead so she wouldn't steal the part you earned. Such kindness, and you repay it by pushing her. Apologize. I swallowed the acid rising in my throat. So, Pierce, you're replacing me? Apologize for shoving her and we'll call it even. I stood silent, jaw clenched. Lily let a smug smile flash before burying it. Forget it. I'll take it as advice from a senior and work harder. Julian gave her an approving nod. You could learn a thing or two from Lily. Tone down that pride. Say you're sorry. He insisted, publicly humiliating me without a shred of regard for the woman he once promised no one would dare touch. The man who once swore to have my back was now holding the knife, just to make me kneel. My assistant jumped in, voice shaking. I was the one who lost it. She can't act, I said so, and she tried to swing at me. Vivian had nothing to do with it. I'll apologize if that's what it takes. I caught her hand and shook my head. No apologies. They're not worth it. Julian's face went dark. Vivian, you can't even control your own assistant. Refuse tonight and I'll kill this shoot, and every future shoot at Pierce. You'll be iced out. He knew exactly what acting meant to me. It was my religion. He'd seen me camp on a director's porch for 3 straight days just to beg for a reading, watched me darken my skin and move into a crumbling walk-up so I could play a mute for 3 months without breaking character. I'd been injured on set more times than I could count. Each time he'd asked me to quit, told me he'd keep me in silk and roses if I'd just walk away. I'd answered, dead serious, I'll never retire. I'll act until the day my body fails me. And now he was willing to bury me for another woman. I stared at the ruthlessness in his eyes, so unfamiliar, and realized men can change their hearts in a heartbeat. 1 week. That's all it took. Our decade together felt like a past life. All that pain had dulled to numbness. I pulled the antique pins from my hair. No need for touch-ups now. Pierce, let's terminate my contract. You're throwing the chance away. You can afford the penalty? He smirked. Say goodbye to the business. I dialed in front of him. Sterling, I'm accepting your sterling offer. When do we sign? Name your terms and the address. I'll come get you right now. I gave him the studio gate number. A thin smile cut across my face. Hollywood isn't your private kingdom. If Pierce won't treat me like an asset, I'll move to a studio that will. Storm clouds rolled in Julian's eyes. When did you crawl into bed with Mason? That man will skin you alive, don't come crying to me afterward. Mason had built Sterling from nothing, rumor said, then cut his oldest partners loose so hard they had to leave the state. Actors he'd signed had soared, until he iced or smeared them. He'd asked for me more than once, I'd always turned him down. Tonight I had no choice left, and he was the only power player unafraid of Julian. I changed into jeans and waited by the curb. Julian watched from a distance, arms folded. Mason leaned out of his matte black SUV, grinning. Lovers quarrel? Lucky me. Ex-lovers, Sterling. His laugh went all the way to his eyes. The guy traded a phoenix for a pigeon? Relax, the terms stay wide open. I know a money tree when I see one. He'd promised long ago to cover my Pierce buyout, drop my commission 5 points, float every A-list script my way, and guarantee 1 S-tier production a year for 5 years. All I had to do was sign. That same afternoon my agent called. Julian wanted to meet on his yacht to talk it over. I arrived to find the deck wrapped in pink balloons and long-stem roses flown in from Ecuador. Julian snapped his fingers, fireworks ignited over the Pacific. Under the sparks he knelt before Lily. Marry me. The invited press went insane with flashes. The spectacle yanked me back to my 20th birthday, when Julian had asked, half asleep, what kind of proposal I wanted. Fireworks and red roses, I'd said. Something loud and bright and hopeless romantic. Funny, he remembered. He just gave it to someone else. Lily whispered yes. He slid the ring on her finger, then lifted a cup of sake for the traditional exchange, yet his gaze arrowed straight to me. A shark-scented reporter followed his look and sprinted my way. Vivian, 10 years together and he proposes to her, was she the other woman? How does it feel to watch the long-term boyfriend marry someone else? Anything you'd like to say to him? I walked forward slowly. Under the deck lights Julian stared down, waiting for tears or begging. I touched the hollow of my throat, felt nothing, and smiled for the cameras. Wish them a lifetime of happiness. Julian crushed the crystal flute in his hand. You actually wish me happily ever after, with her? What did you expect, Julian? Don't marry her, come back to me? He closed the distance in 3 strides. Apologize, quit acting forever, and the woman wearing my ring tonight can be you. I tugged my wrist free and flicked blood from the cut glass. Pass. I came for the termination contract. If you won't draft it, my lawyers will. Lily's face drained of color, the diamond bit into her clenched knuckles. Julian looked like I'd slapped him. You're really walking away for good? Yes. His eyes reddened. Then get the hell off my boat. You'll have your papers. Goal achieved, I left without a backward glance. Julian watched the night swallow my silhouette and kicked over the nearest camera. Derek stepped through the smoke of spent fireworks. Go after her, man. Explain. Julian lit a cigarette, took 2 deep drags. Explain what? You didn't have to propose to Lily. Vivian's better than all of us. She disobeyed me. The Pierces don't want a leading lady for a daughter-in-law. I was fixing her attitude, she'll crawl back when she's scared enough. Doesn't look like she's coming back. Julian's glare sliced across him. Say that again. Vivian, how could she possibly not want him? From 18 to 28, the best 10 years of her life had been spent with him. He had watched her grow from a girl into a woman. He knew she loved him. Otherwise, why would she keep bringing up marriage? He just didn't like how strong-willed Vivian was, how unyielding. She never softened her stance, never said the sweet things he wanted to hear. Like Lily, just a few pretty words and the resources flowed like water. Instead, she acted like a stubborn mule, suffering through every hardship, begging people who didn't even matter. She endured all kinds of bitterness just to land a role that wasn't even worth her time. Her family didn't approve of her being an actress, let's be honest, they saw her as nothing more than a performer. If she wanted to marry, she had to leave the industry first. She refused. She said she'd listen to him on anything else, but not this. They reached a stalemate. It was during this time that he met Lily. At an industry dinner, he was mocked for still being unmarried, labeled a whipped man. They told him you can't give a woman too much face or she'll walk all over you. He thought he had spoiled her too much, that's why she acted so fearless. Lily had about 30% of Vivian's looks, and lived up to her name, soft and sweet. When he saw her being forced to drink, he stepped in and saved her, keeping her around for fun. In this circle, that's how things worked. After all, Vivian had been with him for 10 years, if she didn't marry him, who else could she marry? Vivian, how could she possibly not want him? She was just playing hard to get. Derek could only change the subject. Julian, should we get that wound looked at? He stared blankly at the injury. The glass had sliced nearly halfway across his palm. He had used that hand to grab Vivian just now. In the past, she would have been heartbroken, immediately bandaging him up gently, head lowered, brows furrowed, muttering about how careless he was. It had been unbearably cute. Just now, she had looked almost disgusted, yanking her hand away without caring if it hurt him. All of a sudden, the pain in his palm, which hadn't seemed so bad seconds ago, felt like a knife twisting in bone. He pressed down hard on the wound, his chest tightening with panic. After I got the termination contract, I smoothly ended things with Pierce. The new company got me a new screenplay and gave me time to study it. When I returned to the clifftop mansion, I saw Julian's mother waiting for me. Pierce. She looked at me with disdain. How are you managing Julian? Letting him get tangled up with that kind of woman, someone even lower than you, smelling of poverty and lacking basic manners. Useless. If you can make Julian cut ties with her, I'll allow you into the family. A woman even more disgraceful than you, he's trying to drive his father and me to our graves. She had always been this arrogant and rude. The carefully chosen gifts I'd brought from all over the world were tossed into storage like junk. She claimed price didn't matter, only whether something suited her taste. Whenever I visited, she made me help the housekeepers cook. Julian would grab my hand and snap at her, if you keep making things difficult for her, I won't bring her back, and I won't come back either. At first, Pierce and Julian were at odds. But I always remembered she was his mother, and I kept up every courtesy, sending gifts and greetings on every holiday. Over the years, her attitude toward me softened. Julian started bringing me to family meals again, though she still voiced complaints. She said I was out in public, acting with all kinds of men, and if people heard the Pierce estate had married a performer, the family would be disgraced. Since Julian liked me so much, we could stay together for now. Back then, he would comfort me, telling me not to take his mother's words to heart, he was the one who'd be living with me. After marriage, we wouldn't live with them. But that night, he said the same thing as his mother, called me a performer. Maybe back then he'd only wanted pleasure, so he said whatever sounded sweet. Deep down, he looked down on me too. Thankfully, I never married into the Pierce estate. Now, I had no reason to endure her anymore. I stared at her coldly. I've already broken up with him. Don't bring his mess to me. Isn't it your failure to raise him properly that taught him to two-time? I don't want to enter the Pierce family. Whoever he ends up with is his business. Her face darkened with rage. Don't come crying later. You're only this cocky because Julian indulges you. Just wait, you'll suffer. No need for your concern. I had assumed news of Julian and Lily's impending wedding would top every platform. That Lily would land fashion endorsements and lead roles in hot new shows. That he would push her to stardom without holding back. But there was zero news of any wedding. Even the drama they'd been shooting didn't replace me with Lily as the female lead, they announced a production hiatus instead. I entered the table read for my new project. Director Lee called, "Cut, that's it for now." My assistant rushed over. "Vivian, your phone keeps ringing." I checked, it was Derek. "Sis-in-law." "Don't call me that. The title belongs to someone else now." Then, "Vivian, could you come see Julian? He crashed his race car. Before surgery, he kept calling your name." "No time. I'm filming." Julian and Lily were never anything. A few days ago he paid her off and sent her away for good. She won't bother you again. None of that matters anymore. Don't contact me about him again. I hung up and blocked them all. After wrap, I learned Mason had crashed on the freeway. As my new boss, I had to pay a courtesy visit. I had my assistant buy flowers and fruit and went to Cedars-Sinai. The moment I arrived, reporters outside blocked me. "Hart, Pierce crashed his race car this morning and flipped. You're here now, are you trying to rekindle things? We hear Pierce has a new girlfriend. Are you trying to break them up?" A few yards away, I saw Julian in a wheelchair, forehead stitched, arm scraped, left leg in a cast, his gaze locked on me. He struggled up, shoved his assistant aside, and limped over. Wrapping me in a crushing hug, he spoke as if trying to imprint me on his bones. "Vivian, you came to see me. I knew you wouldn't leave." When the car flipped, every memory of us flashed through my mind. "I can't live without you. Let's get back together." Flashbulbs exploded around us. The bad boy tycoon begging his Ice Queen star, perfect front page material. Tomorrow's cover is set. I restrained the urge to shove him away, he'd just had surgery. If he collapsed and blamed me, I'd never hear the end of it. "Pierce, let go. I'm not here for you." He froze, gave a pale smile. "You rushed here because you heard I was in surgery. Since you're here, let's make up. Once I'm discharged, we'll get the license. Stop the repentant lover act, it's nauseating. You're angry because I wanted more of your attention. Lily's gone, and my mother finally agrees to let you in. Nothing stands between us now." As always, he blamed everyone else. Never himself. "Even without Lily, there'll be another woman tomorrow." "And your mother?" "I never cared about her opinion. You're the one at fault, you changed your heart, you hurt me, and now you claim it was all to make me value you. That's not how love works. Please stop hounding me. I'm here to see Mason. If you want to keep making a spectacle, be my guest." His hands trembled as he let me go, eyes bloodshot, grief and disbelief swirling in them, voice ragged. "You came to see Mason?" "Yeah. Vivian, we've been apart 5 minutes and you're already tangled up with another guy. No wonder the breakup was so clean, you even signed with his studio. Been planning this a while, haven't you?" I lost it. I raised my hand and slapped him across the face. "Stop assuming everyone's as filthy as you. I never start a new relationship until the last one ends, unlike you, juggling 2 women at once." Exactly, Mason cut in coldly from a few yards away. He looked banged up but not critical, a line of stitches on one arm, blood still drying on his cuff. Hart and I are nothing but professional. Pierce, if you keep sullying my reputation, I'll sue, for $1 and a public apology. Julian's stare was glacial. Don't deny it, Mason. You want Vivian. Say it, unless you're too much of a coward. Mason strode over and planted himself in front of me. So what if I do? You two are over. You don't live on this block anymore, ex-boyfriend. Look in the mirror, see what you've become. Julian's injured leg buckled, he crashed to the pavement, tried to push himself up, collapsed again, humiliation in every motion. Stop filming unless you want your paper shuttered tomorrow. Keep rolling, Mason countered. Pierce CEO grovels on sidewalk after failed love bid, great headline. If the paper folds, I'll buy it. He took my hand and pulled me out of the melee. Julian struggled to stand, to follow, but the press swarmed him. Pierce, planning a fiery win-her-back arc? Pierce, did you really cheat? Pierce, 10-year girlfriend walks off with another man, how does that feel? A roar burst from him, who the hell stepped on my foot, get lost, all of you. I handed Mason the flowers and fruit I'd brought. He glanced down. A love offering? I swallowed an eye roll. Cameras are gone, drop the act. Who says I'm acting? I do want to pursue you, but the pest was still buzzing, so I waited. That's why you signed me? Not even close. You're hot right now, critics love you, audiences love you. Signing you prints money, end of math. I'm not in the market for romance. Got it, career first. 2 more Oscars to bag. I'll wait. How about it, Vivian, give me a shot when you're ready. Fresh out of a decade-long relationship, I had nothing left to give. I stayed quiet. After his confession, I avoided him. I worried I'd be blacklisted like a few actresses before me. I considered asking for a termination contract, but decided against it, burn 2 major studios and no one will touch you. Mason didn't push. He simply set up an overseas deal, a film shoot, A-list script, top-tier director, every element locked. I had to finish my current project first, about 6 more months. Julian wouldn't quit. Once he was discharged, he shadowed my new set, daily pickups, catered lattes for the crew. At Rap he'd wait with long stem roses, I never looked, just tossed them in the trash. He kept it up the full half year. It mirrored how he'd courted me years ago, on set every day, coaching me through takes. Julian, we're done. Please disappear, you're making this harder than it already is. His bouquet shook. Vivian, 10 years, how can I erase that? I don't believe you've moved on so fast. People move forward. You gave me beautiful memories, then you torched them. I loved roses, now all I see is the arena where you proposed to Lily. If we tried again, I'd still taste that kiss you shared in front of me. How do I go back? He lowered the flowers, head bowed, pride shattered, clutching my hand like a lifeline. What do I have to do? No other woman, ever. You're the only one I've truly loved. Your love is cheap and fickle, not exactly a collector's item. I thank heaven I chose work over you. Otherwise I wouldn't be hearing this apology, I'd be a housewife you keep, watching you romance others while I slowly lost my mind, until you looked down your nose and asked what right a woman living off the Pierce estate has to complain. His eyes were scarlet, tears sliding free, voice hoarse. I won't, I'll never ask you to quit. You want to act? I'll pile Pierce's best screenplays at your door. Just don't leave me. Let's get married today, right now. You no longer qualify. I climbed into the car and drove away. Tomorrow I'd fly out for the overseas shoot. Finally, some quiet. Julian. Let's make it forever goodbye. While I was filming abroad, Mason kept popping up, dinner, movies, fashion week, weekend trips. He never mentioned dating again, yet he was always there when I needed him. Once, fever hit during a blizzard, roads were impassable. He carried me through knee-deep snow for almost 2 hours to the clinic. I recovered, he burned with fever for days. When he woke I softened, but I asked for more time. I wanted to love on my own terms, not out of gratitude. The overseas film wrapped a year later, premiered, exploded, Best Actress buzz carried my name home. I flew back for the awards. On stage I thanked cast, crew, agents, family. Lastly I looked to the front row, to Mason. Sterling, would you like to be part of my new life? I'm finally ready. In the roar of the crowd he vaulted onto the stage. Under the spotlights we kissed. Cheers rattled the rafters, while one man clutched an engagement ring so hard his palm bled, never letting go. Julian watched the scene unfold in a daze. Since Vivian left she had grown only more radiant. So this is how it feels, watching the person you love kiss someone else. That night in the bar she'd felt the same stab, times 10. All year he'd flown over secretly, even forged a ring, rehearsed a proposal. He arrived just in time to see her brush a kiss on Mason's temple, that soft glow in her eyes once reserved for him now aimed at another. It hurt too much to step forward. If life gave him a reset, he would grab the moment she mentioned marriage and answer without hesitation, yes, let's do it, right now.